food be our medicine? That's the question we are going to focus on tonight. And the presentation will be given by Ethan. He will make relation between food and health. See how can food help us stay healthy or even cure some diseases. It's not a very easy question to answer. The nutritionists day by day discover new facts about food. Some things that we thought were healthy turn out to be not healthy, or the other way around. So now I want to talk more. Ethan, please.
Thanks, Alex. All right. Well, I want to say welcome for all of you for coming. This is our second speech of this fall session, and we already have a couple more set up. Alex is going to give the next one. Our friend Angel will give one after that. After that, I think we have our friend Tom, and then Sonia, and then possibly Jim. So we're already set up almost all the way to the end of November. So let me start. Have we lost touch with what it means to be healthy? Do we think that being healthy simply means not being sick? What pills will you take, and what pills do you refuse to take? Do you go to see the doctor when you are sick? What did your mom and dad give you when you were sick as a child? What is your relationship to the food you eat? How often do you eat raw vegetables? How often do you eat fruit? Do you think about what the animal you eat eats? I'm not trying in this speech to say what is right for everyone. I'm not trying to tell people what to eat or what they should do with their lives. I'm simply asking the question, like Alex said, can food be our medicine? Let me introduce our opening player. While you think about the major players in today's medical world or our globalized food economy, the opening player in my speech is Hippocrates, born circa 460 BCE. Most people would recognize the name Hippocrates from the Hippocratic Oath, i.e., I will do no harm. There are many facets to the method of Hippocrates, of the most important being vis medicatrix naturae, or the healing power of nature, wherein organisms have the ability to balance their own internal health given the right amount of rest, clean water, air, and food. I would like to start with a quote attributed to Hippocrates. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. So what is medicine, and what is food? Medicine, the word medicine, I'll just give you the etymology of the word. From early 13th century, this is the earliest known source from English anyway. From Latin, medicina, originally ars medicina, the medical art. From medicinus, of a doctor, and from medicus, a physician. Also food, Old English, foda, food, nourishment, fuel, also from pre-Germanic phodon, Gothic phodines, from Germanic root fod, equivalent to the Proto-Indo-European pa, to tend, keep, pasture, to protect, to guard, to feed. Obviously, the idea of food has been around much longer than the idea of medicine. As long as there have been people eating, there's been the idea of food. But when did food and nature get separated from medicine? Well, if the earliest reference to medicine is from the early 13th century, it didn't take long before the idea of sustenance was adopted. Sustenance, circa 1300, means of living, subsistence, livelihood. I'm not saying that people started to believe that food had nothing to do with health, just that medicine became something more palpable, where previously food, herbs, etc. were primarily prescribed as opposed to medicine. I'm not saying that at the time medicine was anywhere as advanced as it is now, or the range of food items or cleanliness of those food items were anything like they are now. I'm just trying to establish just trying to establish a baseline for when our ideas of food and medicine separated. What has made it so we can no longer live, and what has made it so we can live longer and healthier lives? Is it the medicine that we take, or is it the quality of the food we eat and the cleanliness of the world we live in? I'm not trying to say that medicine is worthless, just that our food has been far underrated. Now, I was speaking before about food, medicine, and sustenance. Towards the Renaissance, there are ideas of sustenance being closer to what food really is. Action of sustaining life by food from the late 14th century, or the sense of nourishment from the late 15th century. So let's move on to something each of us can relate to, our bodies, the human body. Nourishment, sustenance, food, medicine, and thanks to science, which brought us medicine, we have something called nutrition. Nutrition as a concept is very interesting. We can break our food down into little ideas, concepts that have finite boundaries according to the scientific method. Things like vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, bioflavonoids, carotenes, antioxidants, cholesterol, fiber, protein, and the list goes on and on and on. When I say the concept of nutrition is very interesting, I mean from the perspective that while the science of it is rather sound, the reductionist nature of it is at once disturbing and at last unhealthy. Food should be whole, I believe. There is little reason to reduce food to its respective molecules or sets of molecules. Far more people die from preventable death than will ever die from the food they might eat. So, what makes food good, or what might make our food less good? How old are your fruits and vegetables that you eat? How long did it take the food to go from the farm to your table? How was it adulterated? How healthy was the soil it was grown in? Do we expect unhealthy food to keep us healthy? I'm going to give an example, one example of a foodstuff that most of us undervalue, and one nutrient set that most of us know little about. How many of you like to eat mushrooms on a daily basis? Two of you, every day. And how do you eat them? How are they prepared? I mean, you buy them at the restaurant.
Fried.
Cooked fried. It doesn't really. It's not. That's not really important. I'm just curious. The reason I ask how is it prepared, because this information that I got off the internet is for a 1 cup of boiled mushrooms. I don't know anyone who boils their mushrooms to eat them. You know anyone that boils their mushrooms?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. But I mean, I just, like a hard-boiled egg, just put them in boiled water and take them out and eat them. Like soup, sure, of course, that's great. Okay, anyway, so most of us don't really know what the nutritional facts of a mushroom are, and I didn't. I knew I'd read that they were healthy and a good source of protein, but I didn't really know a whole lot else than that. I'm not going to read out the list. You guys can take a look at it if you want later, but they're a good source of vitamin D, niacin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, choline, I don't even know how to say that, betaine, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, copper, manganese, selenium. And they also have protein in them, and omega-3 and omega-6, a lot more omega-6 fatty acid than omega-3. But so, I mean, it's actually not just like, when I was growing up, okay, I understood that a mushroom wasn't a plant, but I thought, well, they taste good, but can't be good for you because they're not a plant. I really didn't understand that, but they're actually a lot better for us than we know. Okay, so that's the one food stuff that most of us undervalue. eat more mushrooms. And the nutrient set is omega-6 and omega-3. Most of us don't know very much about omega-6 and omega-3. This one is very interesting to me. So first of all, I'll tell you where are omega-6 and omega-3 from, then I'll talk a little bit about what they do. They do a lot of things, but I'll talk about the most interesting to me. Omega-3 comes from dark leafy green vegetables, flax, hemp, walnuts, hazelnuts. If your chickens and cows don't eat grass or insects and are instead fed corn and soy, then they won't have omega-3, or they won't have the omega-3 that you need. As far as fish goes, sardines, mackerel, salmon are the best, but make sure these are responsibly and wild caught. If they're farmed, they probably will have been fed grain and won't be a good source of omega-3. Basically, your chickens get omega-3 from eating grass. Believe it or not, chickens do eat grass. And from eating insects that eat smaller things that live on plants as well. Cows should be getting omega-3 from eating grass. They don't eat grass anymore. And the fish that live in the wild eat smaller fish that eat algae. So it's from these green things and from some seeds like flax, hemp, walnuts, and hazelnuts also have omega-3. Omega-6 comes from grains, seeds, beans. We also find a lot of omega-6 in our poultry, eggs, and dairy because the animals are not eating grass. They're eating grains and beans. They're eating corn and soy. Most people think that omega-3 comes from fish and omega-6 comes from beef. It's only because of what the animals eat. If you're eating wild-caught fish, they're a good source of omega-3 because down the food chain, something is eating algae, something is eating something green. We think that beef does contain a lot of omega-6 because the cows are being fed grains and beans, soybeans and corn. So, does anyone know what omega-6 and omega-3 do in our bodies? They do a lot of things. Can you give us a little rundown on what it is? Because I'm not going to be able to give it very good.
Okay, well, omega-6 is mostly plant-derived, oil, and it's used. Yeah, I mean, one of the functions is to provide the body to be able to cause inflammation. And
so it helps with inflammation. If you hurt your joints, your body needs to inflame to protect that and to heal it.
So omega-6 plays part of that process to enable the immune system.
It's an inflammatory.
Yeah, it's inflammatory. Omega-3 is deflammatory. Right. It shields the body.
It's an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
Right. So in a balance, if you have these things in a balance, your body should be able to inflame when it needs to inflame and heal itself, but also take the inflammation down when it's done healing. The problem is most of us have far too much omega-6 in our diet, so we're actually in a constant state of being inflamed. And in general, it's just not healthy. It's not just like you hurt your arm and your arm gets inflamed, but it's like your organs are inflamed as well, right? It's your whole body. Actually, when I was back in the United States in 2009, I talked to a naturopath, and he was saying that the the lack of omega-3 in diet was a huge health problem in the United States. It still is, but he was also talking about the lack of vitamin D in the body, and I'll get to that later. And that doesn't so much have to do with food. That might be a speech that you might do sometime. All right. So on from mushrooms and omega fatty acids to herbs. Herbs have been used for ages for the relief or stimulus to have specific results, as relief or stimulus for specific results. Wikipedia has a list of over 60 plants with historic and current use as relief from all sorts of ailments. Here are 5 common examples, things you probably already know. aloe vera for the skin, chamomile to help you sleep, garlic, most recently used for treating cardiovascular disease, opium for pain relief, and sage, which has been used to improve cognitive function in Alzheimer's patients most recently. Here are 5 lesser-known examples. Chasteberry to stimulate lactation, feverfew for fevers, headaches, stomach aches, toothaches, and insect bites, horsetail for kidney problems, licorice root for hepatitis, and yohimbe as an aphrodisiac. Gotta find some of that stuff. There are detractors from natural medicine, but there is also a wealth of trial and history. It is not something to be overlooked in this modern age of health in a bottle. And what is health in a bottle? The mainstream media medicine, I'm now calling it, which is sort of a silly name, but here are some mainstream media medicines and medicine facts to chew on, as it were. 2.2 million people per year have adverse reactions to in-hospital prescribed drugs. This is in the United States. There are 20 million prescriptions for antibiotics to fight viral infections a year. That's a misdiagnosis. Over 780,000 people die annually from conventional medicine. This is more than the death rates for heart disease and cancer. Not combined, but more than the death rates for heart disease and more than the death rates for cancer. So there are groups of people that go back and forth on the benefits or harmful effects of things like vaccinations, pain medicine, anxiety medicine, or even antibiotic treatments. But the point of my speech is not to put down any specific medicine or medical treatments. What I'm trying to do is give an alternative, or at least to cause discussion on the topic. Some people will feel very strongly about how much good modern medicine has done. Most of us at least have a story to tell about how we were killed. Most of us have a story to tell about how we were cured by some pill or another. My specific story would be when I got a lung infection in Mexico and took antibiotics and it was gone. I had the lung infection for like 2 weeks, or a week, or 10 days, and I took antibiotics and it was gone in 2.5 days. It was fantastic to be over that. So, but what I really want to ask is the fact that we have modern medicine what really keeps us from getting sick and dying, or are there other factors, more important factors, that really keep us healthy and disease-free? Humans have not only co-evolved with plants, we have for a very long time been making plants to work for us, and at the same time been doing exactly what the plants would like us to do by striving to make more of them. Why does our society give so little presence of mind to the benefits of a diet meant to heal? I should have made the wording a little bit more easy on this. Granted, advertising groups love to tell us about the newest nutrient study and what breakfast cereal we should eat, or this breakfast cereal with pomegranate extract, or this drink, or drink this, or put this on your skin because of the studied benefits of this or that other nutrient. But we don't eat nutrients. We don't live in a world of little blocks of ideas. We live in a world of whole things that we should respect, and we should respect our coevolution with those things. A carrot is not just beta-carotene, it is the whole carrot. Now, where do these healthy things in plants come from? Most of the things that we consider healthy are parts of the plant's natural health systems, the plant's immune systems. The plant's skin contains chemicals that help it resist bugs, mold, and bacteria. Some of these chemicals are very good for us. Some of them are a bit poisonous. Plants are at the same time tasty with their sugars and other vitamins, and bitter with their chemicals and poisons. Plants entice animals to eat them and give benefits to that animal, and at the same time ensure that they will not be completely eaten by making the animal feel sick if they eat too much of that one plant. Same thing happens with us. It's not just the deer. It really works out perfectly for us. We eat a wide variety. Variety is the key. Of fruits, grains, nuts, vegetables, beans, and mushrooms. And we get all the health benefits without letting the poisons build up in us, which would happen if we only ate one kind of fruit or vegetable. I mean, even myself, I'm conscious of it. I try to think about eating a variety of things, but at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, what do I have in my refrigerator? A whole bunch of green peppers, or I'll eat carrots for a week or something. I'm dumb about it myself. The point is, when the plants win, we also win. They are equal. When we grow and eat all the wide variety of plants available to us, then we are really working together with those plants to have a healthy earth and body. There's a whole other thing. There's a whole other thing to say about raw food versus cooked food, but that would be another speech. Food is not the only thing needed for a healthy life. Food is just one, and we have to spend. Food is just the one that we have to spend our money on. We can vote with our pocketbook to both show how the distributors what we prefer to eat, and show the medical industry that we prefer to prevent illness instead of treat it. When you're eating the fruit, vegetable, or other whole food, don't forget about the other things a healthy person requires: sun, exercise, sleep, love, laughter, massage, alternative states, meditative states, and I guess you could name a few more. In conclusion, I would like to say, let food be our medicine and compassion be your home. Let food be your medicine and compassion be your home. Let clean air be your morning tea and a restful sleep your new suit. Let laughter be your welcome and meditative massage be your way of walking. We are no longer only consumers. We are expressions of what it can mean to be truly healthy. Okay, thanks.